Hey guys and gals, welcome back to Stella's Knife Obsession. I'm Stella and I'm obsessed. And today I'm going to show you my 10 favorite ergos from Kizer. Let's do this. What I'm going to do is start with the more neutral ergos that I find the most comfortable with my collection of my Kizer knives. And today we're going to start with the Ignis Assassin because Kizer has two Assassins. The other one, I believe, is all premium. I don't have the other one, unfortunately, but I do believe the other one has a neutral grip as well. But anyway, we're going to talk about this one today. So this one has just a really, really nice neutral grip, and this can suit anybody, and I mean with monster paws, or you can, if you've got little tiny hands, this can be basically what do you call it? I don't know, like a hatchet, a machete. That's what I'm. It's like a pocket machete, but like a small one. But if I'm assuming if you're, say you're a little tiny person, maybe you're a really small chick, and you've got tiny hands, this can definitely be a pocket machete. This thing is, it's a very large knife, and the ergos were not compromised at all when they made this knife as large as they did. Another thing I love about this is that the ergos follow through so well through the whole design, even into the flipper tab. And now I think that Kizer has mastered the art of hiding a flipper tab. They've heard the people talk about pocket peckers and large, obtrusive flipper tabs, and they've basically fixed it on a few models. So if you like the a flipper tab but lack thereof, these are going to be perfect knives for you with these types of flippers. But the ergos, it starts a little more narrow down toward the tail end of the knife, and it just steadily gets thicker. And in the bolster area, there's no forward finger choil or anything, but you can, you can ride up on that bolster area with ease. And this thing, it just melts into your hand. You can't even feel the clip. It's great. So, and with deep pocket clips, people tend to have issues with them being hot spots on their hands because there's so much of the clip that lies on the knife to make it deep carry. Now, because the handle is so incredibly long on this thing, this actually, depending on how enormous your hands are, this thing is not really going to bother you. So anyway, so the Ignis Assassin has one of my favorite ergos, especially in the neutral grip. So this is definitely a recommended. This is one of the most underrated Kizers of last year, and I would argue probably one of the best EDC knives of last year. I never did my my best EDC, my best budget knife of last year, and so I'm still going to do it. But this one is definitely in the running for the best budget of last year, 2021. So anyway, always recommend this one, especially for a hard worker with huge hands. And if you're wearing gloves, this is perfect. So let's move on. All right, now with the T1, it also has a neutral grip. The first half of these are going to all have a neutral grip or really close to it. The T1 by Kizer is one of my favorite knives, period. Not just by Kizer, but I mean of all time so far. And then they came out with, this version. Oh my gosh. If this isn't the perfect pair of knives, I don't know what is. I really don't. This is so nice, and this will be most people's like winter knife because titanium tends to get colder, and if you aren't wearing gloves and you need to use it and your hands freeze or whatever the case is, if you don't want to carry around a cold titanium knife or whatever, you have the choice now because they came out with this, which is a Mojave exclusive, Mojave Outdoor exclusive. And it's so worth it, you guys. Both of these were worth every single penny you pay for them. They're very, very reasonable. This one's S35VN with this beautiful, simple, just very simplistic design that they have executed perfectly. One of the best thumb stud knives, if not the best, in my collection. But this only counts as one because the ergos are almost exactly the same on each one. So now there are some slight differences between the two T1s, and I will go over that in the comparison video. But for right now, this is definitely either my top favorite ergos or number 2. But definitely T1, you guys. Either one is worth buying. If you only want one, either one is worth buying. Depends on what you like as a person. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, I could not leave out my little buddy, the Kizer Lan, Lan. This thing was my first Kizer in my collection, period. The first one I ever ordered was the Mini Doman, but this one got here first. So the first Kizer I ever held in my hands was this one right here, and it couldn't be more perfect. It's got the beautiful Kizer drop shut action. It's got an amazing frag pattern on a micarta scale, and it's gorgeous, you guys. It gets that kind of dirty look when handling it a lot, and I used this quite a bit when I first got it, just because the thing is amazing. It's a great slicer with a hollow grind in the middle, and then it's got the flat grind at the top. It's just built for cutting and slicing. The tasks you can complete with this knife, even though it's N690 steel, which is a very easy to sharpen steel, this thing is really, really great. And I definitely recommend this as well. I don't know who the designer. Oh yeah, that's right. This was Azo, and it was an in-house designer, and then the other guy, Ray Knife. Yeah, great design, you guys. Neutral grip still, and then you have this cutout for the access for the liner lock, and that thing is. It just facilitates an even better grip because your finger just wants to go there. This one you can choke up on, but you don't really need a forward finger choil because the grip is so great, and where they place the jimping right here is superb. They even give you extra room with the jimping. So Kizer did it right. I love Kizer's jimping. I think they are one of the best in the game with jimping. Anyway, great slicer. Great steel, cheap price, awesome materials. You can't really go wrong. Great little deep carry pocket clip and everything. This one you can feel, but it's not ridiculous. Yeah, it's still very comfortable. I definitely recommend this to everyone. All right, let's see what's next. The Kizer Rapids. One of the best to end the year with. The Towser K and the Rapids were two of the best budget EDCs that Kizer put out, if not the best of the year. I don't know. I'm still torn about that because I think I want to do a best of Kizer, best of Kubi, and so on. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing my best of the year knife in each category that I have plenty of knives in. But the Kizer Rapids, another neutral grip, so nice, and it doesn't force you anywhere. You don't need the forward finger choil, but it does have a wonderful plunge grind for sharpening. But you still, again, have that cutout to access the liner to release. Oh my God, the action on this, you guys. Oh, it's ridiculous. Kizer knows what they're doing as far as action goes. They have never failed, not in my eyes. I mean, I have one, that the action is not good on, but that's it. Anyway, the handles are so very comfortable. You can use this as a hard use knife, because it is pretty rigid, because the micarta inlays into G10, so it gives it a little bit more of a tough factor. And this blade, it came ridiculously, probably hair splitting sharp. It was so, I wonder if it's still shaving sharp. It still shaves. Not as well as it did when I first got it, but that's okay. I can bring it back. But yeah, this one, as far as I know, there's only this one variation of the knife, but it's pretty nice looking. So as long as you get into a black blade, this thing is beautiful, and it rides very well in the pocket. It's lefty friendly, so you can't really go wrong. It's got a really great lanyard area too. So for the lanyard lovers, they thought of everybody on this one. So it's comfortable. It fits in the hand very nicely. It's not small, but it's not huge. It's got the neutral grip with the cutout for the great access for that liner lock, by the way. But this thing is just, it checks so many boxes. You cannot go wrong. If you were on the fence about ordering this knife, I say get off that fence, homie, and buy this knife. Okay, let's see what is next. Here we have another S35VN and titanium variant, the Quail by Kizer, with a reverse tanto with a beautiful swedge up here. And not only does it look very nice, it could pass as a Wharncliffe in a way too, because it doesn't have a belly. It's got that drop off, very similar to every Wharncliffe blade you've ever seen, probably. But that swedge kind of reinforces that tip. The tip is thin, but it does get some strength from that swedge. So, and this thing came hair splitting sharp as well. I was not disappointed when I got this. It's so classy looking, and Kizer knows what they're doing when it comes to the S35VN and titanium. It's so simple for them. They make it look easy, and it's just art. I mean, this pocket clip is amazing. It goes in and out of the pocket just fine. I mean, not just fine, but amazingly. It's great. You cannot lose if you're going to buy any of their. I just took this one apart and tightened it up. But you cannot lose if you're going to grab one of Kizer's S35VN and titanium combos. It's a win-win situation. So anyway, but this clip is perfect for this neutral grip. As you can see, it is a little more slender right here, gets a little thicker as you go up. That way you just keep your grip the whole time. I mean, you start down here, obviously, and it just gets better as you go up. That way, when you go for a push cut or whatever the case is at the time, you're going to have a really great purchase on that handle. It's an amazing grip. And the action is so smooth and so quiet. There's nothing but class to this knife. Listen. Oh, so quiet. Okay, let's see what's next. Now we're going to get into the handles with slight differences. They're not exactly neutral. Now this Grazioso was just such a pleasant addition to my Kizer collection, because it exudes class. The brass bolster and that weathered green micarta that they put on here with this beautiful harpoon type of blade with a recurve, it just exudes class. You can choke up nicely on that sharpening / finger choil. This is the designer Manganas is a fantastic designer. I cannot wait to get the new variant they're coming out with that has titanium here and carbon fiber here. I cannot wait. And it's probably S35VN, I would assume. This is another classy, quiet one. So Real quiet. I love that. And again, with that Kizer perfect jimping, this one is a lot more subtle than usual, but it's still there. And I mean, it's, if anything, it looks nice. But you don't, they could have done without the jimping if they wanted to, because your thumb just fits perfectly right in that harpoon area. So, but that little bit of a palm swell makes this just seat in your hand, and it is so comfortable, you guys. It's incredible. So this is a winner all the way around. The thing is gorgeous. It's got a beautiful palm swell. It's still slightly neutral. That way, any hand size can really use this. I don't recommend a whole lot of glove. Like, if you're going to use gloves when using this knife, a thick glove is not really ideal for use with this knife. So, but yeah, this is an amazing, amazing find. So if you guys can find one, definitely get it. They have that copper and G10 variant as well. Gorgeous. I will be getting it eventually. But yeah, the brass bolsters do add a little bit of weight to it, but they did skeletonize the stainless steel liners, but there's not a whole bunch you can do. It's not incredibly heavy or anything. They still maintained a great balance point. This thing checks all the boxes like Kizer often does. So, and then you have that amazing Kizer action. It's beautiful. I love it. So what's next? The Kizer Hunter, but this is the mini. This one might be a surprise to you guys because I don't carry it very often at all. It does have that center palm swell, similar to the Grazioso and a couple other models, but it's got that drop point, like fat blade that I just love so much. And it looks like a hollow grind, but it's actually a very, very beautiful saber or flat grind, whichever you prefer to call it. This thing is in 154 cm, and the designer I'm not very familiar with, but I believe this designer does mostly fixed blades. So if I'm wrong, just let me know below. If you guys know who designed this, please let me know below. But yeah, this one has this really great action. They use washers on this one, I believe, and it's just really smooth. It does not fall shut, and it doesn't flick out very well, but there's not a single sound coming from this knife. And it's so quiet on the close. I love it. You can flick it out if you give it a little wrist. So you just kind of have to really whack it. So, and then a great deep carry pocket clip that it just melts into your hand. You barely feel it at all. But again, with that palm swell, they did an amazing job on the ergos. So yeah, let's see what's next. Okay, now is the Kizer Infinity. They make a front flipper version, which is this one, and they also make a regular flipper version, which is really good looking. It's got that black micarta that they do so well, and then a black blade. So you have your choice on that one. But this is another one with a palm swell that Kizer does so well. It's a smaller knife, but it fits in the hand very, very well because the palm swell. It just nests right into your palm. It's got a great sharpening choil, a great shaped blade. It's a wonderful little drop point with a crowned spine, and then that amazing jimping that Kizer does so well. This is also an N690, and the another by Azo, the in-house designer. So great knife with that awesome fall shut action. So the pocket clip you can feel usually around here on your palm, but it's not too bad. It's definitely not a deal breaker. The lock bar access is really good. As you can see the liner right there. Your finger kind of gravitates there and then puts that swell right in your palm, and there you go. You just have beautiful ergos from this. So yeah, so that's the Kizer Infinity. Let's see what's next. I have the Ray Laconico designed Gemini with the blue accents, but this weathered black micarta. I love this micarta. This is a relatively neutral grip, but because of the flipper tab, it kind of forces your hand into a position. That's why it wasn't in the neutral grip section of my ergos for this video. It's not a tiny knife by any means, but it's small, and it rides nicely in the pocket. It has a nice classic drop point blade that's very useful for anything, really. Anyway, even though it doesn't have uh, contoured handles, it's still very, very comfortable in the hand. I think people with larger hands, they might not like this grip, but I can't really say. I try to get people with different hand sizes to hold my knives so I can see how it fits in other people's hands. But I haven't had much experience with putting this one in other people's hands. So, but it's a great knife. I know personally, I know a couple of reviewers that love the Gemini. So, it's a great knife. I want the full titanium S35VN version because it's just a great knife, and I just love it. So I want the premium version. It would go very well in my collection, indeed. Okay, but that's the Gemini, an Azo design. Let's see what's next. All right, we have the VK1. This one is unique, and it's definitely for a unique user as well, because it's not exactly traditional as far as the way this knife is shaped, because it's, if you start from here and go to the tail end of the knife, it's a straight line almost. But then in the front where the blade is, the blade tip, it goes down and then back again. So this is a unique using, if you're not just collecting and you're a user, this is a unique knife. This is going to be for specific situations. I personally haven't found specific situations that this knife is best for, but then again, I don't use much more than your typical Wharncliffe style blade or just a smaller type of drop point blade. But this is a unique knife, and it's worth owning just because it is another classy offering, and just has that little copper dot on the blade. I love that. But the blade handle, it's got a slightly neutral grip, but it's very thin in the rear end. It does have this nice little lanyard hole, but I think it's just nicely incorporated. They drilled through the back spacer, so it's really good. They didn't have to make just a separate spot only for the lanyard, which is cool. I like that. I mean, it is a separate spot for the lanyard, but I mean, add anything to the knife for it, which is cool. The action on this guy is amazing, and this is another one with that amazing flipper tab that just Kizer does so well. The frame lock is easy to disengage. The micro milling on the scales is absolutely beautiful. I love this little elevation drilling they did for the pivot. It's just very, very attractive. A nice long pocket clip that actually, I love the fact that they made it longer because it doesn't touch the frame lock, and that's great because you don't have any problems whatsoever manipulating this knife. And then you have these jimps in here, or this texturing, or I can't think of the word I want to use, but they put that in there and it grabs a hold of your pocket very nicely. So everything was put into the thought of this. I just don't know what they were thinking about when they put it as a user knife. I mean, I know it's based on I believe it's based on a fixed blade knife, but I just don't know what they had in mind when they designed this knife. Doesn't mean I hate it, because I absolutely love it. If anything, I think it's one of the most unique knives I have in my entire collection, because the shape is just so sweet. It's just gorgeous. But anyway, the thoughtfulness that went into this design it's spot on. It really is. I mean, this long pocket clip, it makes it to where it doesn't dig in. It more or less becomes a part of the handle in your hand instead of an addition to the handle. And then you can still choke up on this with this little blocky spot right here. It's blocky, but it's not ugly by any means. It's just a part of the grip if you want it to be. So, and that gives you a whole new grip. And then in my opinion, it's a whole new way you can use the knife too. So, but that's the VK1. I love that knife. Let's see what's next. That was all, actually. I just have these two mentions, honorable mentions, because they both have great ergos. And then this one also, again, has that amazing hidden flipper tab that's just easy to use. You don't have to worry about anything. But the ergos on these guys are fantastic. It's not exactly a neutral grip, but it doesn't exactly force your fingers anywhere. It's pretty amazing the way they figure these things out. I mean, the October was so well thought out. I mean, this is a great utility knife too. The shape altogether is perfect. It's a great sheep's foot type. Great choil. Anybody can fit their finger in that thing. I don't care how big your hands are. This thing will fit in your hands. It's smaller, but it's thicker, like wider. So it's easy to fit in people's hands. Even though it's it's a shorter knife. Great knife. Nice EDC. Then you have the Kizer K, which is amazing. This thing, again, with the Warncliffe style blade, amazing. You can choke up right here, and then you can hold it back here. And this is such a comfortable grip, but so is this. When you're choking up for push cuts, this thing was almost born to do push cuts, because it's just so good. That that grip is so comfortable. And then this knife is just fantastic. I don't know what else to say. This also has the adjustable height on the pocket clips, which is cool. The only other one that I have seen them do that on is the Lan. So the Kizer Lan, you can also choose how high you want it or how low. It's not a huge difference between the two, but it can mean seeing a little bit and seeing nothing at all. So that's really cool that they give you that option. This is a great knife, probably in the top 5 for last year's budgets. So I'm pretty sure that Kizer is going to make a lot of a lot of that list. So anyway, we're going on 30 minutes here, so I'm just gonna end it there, and I'm gonna hope that you made it to the end. Say thank you for your help in getting to 600 subscribers, and thank you for your help and support. Thank you to the Shredder family for all your support and sending me things, and I appreciate all of you.